All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Two Beers with a Band. I'm your host, and today I'm sitting down with the guys from Horsehell. They are a Nashville-based indie band. And guys, tell us a little bit about yourselves, and then
Sure.
let me know why you chose this particular beer, and then we will jump right into it. I can't wait.
That sounds great. We're Horsehell. I'm Scout. This is Liam and Caleb. Based out of Nashville. We're all kind of from different places, but came together and started making some music and and came out with some stuff that was cool. It was like post-shoegaze. We can get into that later. I have a lot of strong feelings on genre names and things, but yeah, we kind of blend a handful of different things. We all have different styles, but yeah. And then we brought Homestyle today as the first beer I ever drank when I came to Nashville, and I've been addicted to it since. I don't really drink IPAs very often, but I like Homestyle.
Well, you know what? You picked a good one. So if y'all want to, let's
Please
go ahead and get into it.
Love that sound.
That crack. First thing I hear in the morning. Slow pour.
Well, you know what? You don't want to pour too fast, because then you got to sit there and wait and watch and just be like, I'm going to drink this beer now, but that head is so
The head's
big.
just fucking massive.
Yeah. All right, guys. This is a hazy, dark gold color. Let's take a sniff, see what we get.
Smells like orange juice.
It does kind of smell like orange juice.
Nice and fruity.
I always thought it was very grapefruity, honestly.
Well, it does have, for me, I get the grapefruit up front, followed by the orange.
Yeah.
So it kind of tastes like literally you put grapefruit and orange juice in a glass, stirred it up.
Delicious.
It's exactly
Yeah.
how it tastes.
I mean,
dude.
this is an all-day beer.
Oh, yeah.
All-day beer. I mean, you can start with this at breakfast,
With a bowl of
obviously
cereal.
at lunch, and then, of course, with dinner, after dinner, until, breakfast the next morning. It depends on what kind of weekend you're rocking, but I've done that once or twice.
So you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like parched. Instead of water, I just open a Homestyle, down it, just out right over again.
I've woke up in the middle of the night, early morning, parched, and instead of going downstairs and getting some water, there's a half open or a half drink beer on the nightstand.
Yeah.
Hey, you can't waste it. Go ahead
No
and
way.
hit that.
It's a
go
little
right
flat,
back
but
to
it's
bed.
still good.
You know what?
Oh.
And at that point in the morning, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's about sustainability, man.
Yeah. So, all right.
I
Well,
sustain this dream that I'm living.
let's take a sip and you guys tell me what you think.
Yeah. Orange juice, man. It kind of does. Like what's the word? Carbonated. Carbonated orange juice. That's
What's
what
the
it
word
tastes
for
like.
the little bubbles?
It's nice.
What is this feeling I'm feeling?
Ah,
What is this beer doing to me? I like it.
when it's in your mouth, it fizzles or something.
It's crazy.
What is happening?
It's like Pop Rocks.
Only better.
Only
Dude,
better.
yeah. Pop rocks that make you feel really good.
What do you get flavor-wise off this?
And honestly, orange juice. Like a
Mm.
little bit bitter orange juice. It's really good.
Okay. All right.
I think it tastes like home.
It tastes just like home.
All right.
Tastes like style.
Explain to me why it tastes like home.
Just style of my home. I don't know.
Okay.
Alcoholism, I guess.
Maybe, I don't know.
Well, I know you guys are a Nashville-based band, but where is home for you guys? Where did y'all come from? And how did you come together in Nashville?
I grew up not far from here, like central Kentucky, Lexington.
Okay.
It's like 3.5 hours north of here. I grew up there most of my life, and then I would come down here every now and then. Nothing significant, but I ended up moving out to Utah for a handful of years, and then came back here. I had a bunch of buddies who kind of migrated down from Lexington and were working on music. So I was out there making music, and I was like, why am I not just out here with these people I'm working with and like friends with already? So I came here about 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm from Indianapolis. I moved to Nashville about 10 years ago. Yeah, just wanted to move out of my hometown and had some friends here doing music stuff. So, yeah, it's been 10 years, which is crazy to think about.
So you have witnessed the explosion and the massive change in this city firsthand.
Yeah, I think 10 years ago, it was, people would say the same thing about someone living 10 years before that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Don't laugh at me. So, yeah, I think I caught it like right when I moved here, a lot was different. And there was so much development that happened since then. Yeah. I remember when the Gulch was like a bunch of empty lots.
Yeah. And now you can't even park around there.
Dude, I can't even park next to my house half the time.
And I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, born and raised there. And I moved here almost 5 years ago, in 2020. And I guess I met y'all like a couple years ago.
Was it a couple? I thought it was just like one.
Because I was playing drums in a friend of ours band.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how I met you.
Because I showed up drunk on this same beer.
Oh, wow.
And took photos of the band. They were practicing in like our garage. We called it Hell House because it was like the shittiest little space. Like it felt like it was going to collapse on you. And either that or you get tetanus from touching anything in there. But they were all rehearsing in there, and I showed up drinking home styles and was taking photos of them while they practiced. I think that was the first time that I met you.
That's how we met.
But then we worked together for a while. We didn't play music the entire time we worked together, though.
Yeah.
It was like all post.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's weird.
Well, I find it interesting in Nashville how bands get together. And I think a lot of fans and a lot of people in general wonder, how did these people come together if they didn't grow up together? How did the stars align and these people meet and decide, you know what, let's do it. Let's get together and let's make something. Yeah. And I think it's just interesting how that happens.
It is.
And I'm sure there's information out there, but it seems to be a question that when I look at other interviews with bands, that question's not ever brought up. Yeah. Maybe somewhere in the interview, people say, oh, I'm from this location or this location, and we met at the same university we went to. And that's it. I mean, the university's big. Yeah. How did you just happen to run across each other and realize, hey, you play an instrument, I play an instrument, I like what you're doing. Why don't we try to do something together?
Yeah.
That's interesting to me, those stories.
Totally.
And I think especially in Nashville, there's so many people that could have been sitting here.
Right. Yeah. All trying to do the same.
Yeah. But instead, you three guys are sitting here as a band.
Yeah. Yeah, we knew each other. I guess we worked together for like a little over a year.
Yeah, maybe a year and a half, something like that.
And then one day you just asked if I wanted to play on your stuff. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I listened to it and I was like, this is terrible.
This is dog shit.
I'll never. And then I decided, I'll throw him a bone.
Give this little
Give this
youngster
little
a
guy a
chance.
bone. No. I remember listening and being like, this is awesome, you know.
And that was
Love your
even
voice.
before we were doing the Horsehell stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's funny because I felt that same way before, where I was just like, I want a band so bad. And I have no idea how to get there. But it was not the thing that was on my mind when it actually ended up coming together. It just kind of like happened. We'd be working on stuff, and then like, I don't know. I can't even remember a moment specifically if I like asked you guys to come jam or what. Just
Yeah.
woke up one day and it was rehearsal day.
Yeah. And it was like, we have a show in a month.
Yeah, we have a show. It was just birthed out of the universe.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, hey, ain't nothing wrong with that, right?
It worked, man. It worked. We're running with it. So
So what do you guys do individually in the band as far as writing instruments and promotions, social media, stuff like that? What do you guys do individually?
I don't do
I think it's
any.
mostly him. Wait, who's doing stuff?
I don't
None
know,
of us are
dude.
doing anything.
That's what I meant when I said it all came together. I just woke up. It was all happening.
Yeah, I feel like as far as like social media stuff goes, we don't really have like an official band social media thing.
Yeah.
But it just all kind of goes through him,
Goes through my shit.
and then we'll post promotions on our own accounts or whatever. Just try to get people out.
I've been slowly turning my personal account into just like band shit for the past year, because I hate social media, as do a lot of people. But I also didn't specifically want to have one for the band, because that's the worst part of like any of promoting yourself, is trying to build it from the ground up. Because you can build it from the ground up, you have to, but like on social media it's a bit different because nobody gives a shit, and you just create an account. There are like 25 like new band accounts I have that are just floating on Instagram somewhere that have like 2 followers. So
Well-
I was just like, I'm gonna turn it into this.
Well, what if you could find someone that would build your social media for you? And I'm not talking about these people who charge an exorbitant amount,
Yeah.
because they're working with big time artists, they're working with contracts, things like that. People, who can afford those massive.
sure.
I mean, what if you could find somebody who, for lack of a better term, is an indie social media or an indie artist promoter? In fact, we'll go with that. We'll go with that, indie artist promoter.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, you can cut that out. But I mean, if you could find someone who would take care of all of that, because he'll say, and I'll say, because I do a lot of research on bands before, we sit down and talk. And there's some bands out there that have a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
And I can go on YouTube and find multiple full-length videos, a ton of shorts, things like that. And then there are bands that I really have a hard time finding anything.
Yeah.
But as far as like, I'm not a fan of social media myself. I'm really
Yeah.
not. I've got a ton of other things to do. Instead of worrying about, I need to do this, I need to do that,
Yeah.
or let me jump on here and see what's going on with what I did.
Totally.
It's not my thing. But right now, today's gas for a band is YouTube.
Yeah.
Videos, shorts, things. I mean, something that when they hear your song, they can see your face, and just
Yeah.
a simple short on Instagram right now. If you posted once a day, maybe take a full length video and just cut 7 shorts out
Pieces
of it
out of it. Yeah.
and post that once a day on Instagram. That's going to keep you fresh on people's mind. That's going to keep you in front of people. And I know with me, I have the content there, and there are things I do during the day that I think to myself, oh, I could have filmed that and put that on Instagram or whatever. And then I need to go do this. I need to go do that. Next thing you know, a few days have passed and I haven't even opened it to see if I posted something, what's been going on with it, because I'm so busy. And to be honest with you, I don't feel like posting all the time. I don't, you know what I'm
I
saying?
don't think any of us have that much shit to say, you know?
No.
Like,
Honestly,
I like that we post a lot of photos and videos just of live shows.
Yeah, same.
Which is...
Well, I know you guys have a fan base. Doesn't your fan base come out there and either use like their phone or one of these small cameras and just
take videos and
stuff like that, and then send it to you and say, hey man, I enjoyed the show, here's a video I shot, you know, from my phone or from the small camera or that camera over there. And if they sent that to you, say, hey, do you mind if I chop it up and post it on Instagram or something like that? And not, you know, that way you didn't do any of the work.
Yeah, you just gotta share it.
If somebody with that already has a bunch of followers was posting it and like tagging you,
it'd be nice.
Or at least mentioning the band.
We're a bit spoiled whenever we play near town because the same friend who is in a band, his name's Diego. He does fucking incredible photos, and he started doing like live photos, and he just will show up to some of our shows and take pictures of us. And that's my favorite content too, is when he sends us that shit. And I didn't realize until like last week or a couple weeks ago, we went out for like our first little 2-day run, and we just had nothing. I walked out and I was like, I'm gonna put together a post, and I just had like the dumbest pictures of us, like the stupidest faces, in the van, and that was it. And I was like, well, never mind. So I didn't post anything.
Well, you know what? I like when I watch or when I see social media posts from bands is the goofy stuff. The stuff I don't see on stage. Like, for example, if you're driving from one show to the next and it's 11 o'clock in the morning or noon and you're driving and you want to pull over for a bite to eat. He's in the passenger seat bouncing his head off the window with his tongue hanging out. Going, and he's in the back seat just completely laid out, you know, wrapped around a pillow or something.
That is about how it would be,
Just hold your phone up and say, you know, show the world's alive. You're alive driving. Here he is over here passed out. There he is passed. Just something quick like that. It's like, you know, this is indie band life.
It's cool.
It's not all glitz and glamour. In fact, there's no
There's
glitz
no
and there's no glamour. This is hard work, you know. And you could say something to the effect of, I just got off my 8-hour shift, came home, loaded the van, and I've been driving since 10 o'clock last night, and it's noon. And this
I should be watching the road, but
but I'm looking at memes on my phone.
But I'm making a post instead. I mean, something like that.
There are 3 cops tailing me.
Here's me. He's asleep. There's a police that are fixing to pull me over,
and I'm not gonna stop. We got to make the gig.
Right.
No, I think you're right. That's kind of like the philosophy I've landed at with social media is like, it's always a weird line that I ride because I like to obviously make the band and like what we're creating, and like I wouldn't go as far as to say we have a fan base, but like anyone who's interested and wants to hear and like follow along with us, I always appreciate it, and that's the only way that we can kind of put that forward. But I do hate making content, so I usually make a promise with myself of like, I'll do anything that I personally think is fun, but I draw the line with anything else. I hate all those stupid band promo things I see all the time on Instagram. They're like, you just discovered your new favorite band. This is the weirdest fucking genre you've ever
POV.
heard.
Yeah.
POV. I hate that stuff. And I'm like, something I really like growing up and watching like podcasts of bands on tour and stuff. It was like, I don't know. There was something much more personal about it that didn't feel so like promo-y. You know?
Right.
It was
Right.
just like these dudes found the shittiest camcorder ever, and they were like, "Let's just record this."
No,
And I kind of want that
no,
vibe.
No. I found the shittiest camcorder, and I'm recording with it. So, in fact,
we
you know
take
what?
this on tour?
In fact, I probably got it from them. So,
It's like age old.
yeah, it's doing a good job. I appreciate your work, camcorder.
Good
But,
job, camcorder.
You know, I enjoyed that too when you look at like years ago when I was younger. So, this is the latest release from this band that has 3 or 4 albums out that just took over the world.
Yeah.
And the entire music video is just backstage stuff.
Oh, like
of
B-roll shit.
Other shows.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
before they go on stage, it's somebody standing around just filming them hanging out in the back. Or, like you say, somebody on the bus filming the road and then kind of easing the camera around. You got somebody asleep. You got the guitar player back here working on something. You got somebody over here sitting down just writing, looking out the window, just being human.
Yeah.
You know, what you guys see every day that we don't see. All we see as a consumer is the persona that you put out on stage, you know. And I, as a consumer, I don't know if you guys are what I see on stage. What you show me as a consumer may not be who you are. But when I see that video of you guys just hanging out or eating at a diner or throwing a football and somebody running into a bush or something, I mean, you know, that's who you guys are.
Yeah.
You know, and that's who a band is. That brings, at least for me, that brings the humanity to
Yeah.
the music.
I
And
totally agree.
I look at that every time I hear that song. That video pops up in my head because it's so unique. It's not a high production video.
Yeah.
It's life for that band, you know. And for me, I think that's cool. I enjoy that.
I agree.
You know, to sit down and watch a video of you guys, or even a short maybe of you guys recording something.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're up there on the mic or you're getting ready, you're sitting there just kind of, you know, doing this, whatever, trying to get your sound check right, and then looking over here and maybe he throws something at you and, you know, I mean, just,
Bricks.
you know, bricks. We talked earlier
Start
about
stoning
fighting.
me. Now's the time.
Use it. Use it.
I mean, something like that, just somebody sitting over there with their phone filming that,
Yeah.
you know, and just put that up as a short.
And it's way more
People-
fun and easy to do. Too.
People gravitate towards it. I gravitate towards that,
Yeah.
especially if it's something that's got a little humor to it.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit there and watch it. If it's 20, 30 seconds short and there's something funny about it, I'm going to sit there and watch it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And then if you could add some sort of music in behind it, that would be even cooler.
Lock it in.
Yeah.
One of our 15-minute jams. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, speaking of music, and I know you spoke earlier about genres, and you hate genres, and a lot of people do, but to be posted or to be promoted, you have to have a genre. You have to fit in a box. Otherwise, playlists aren't going to pick you up.
Yeah.
So
It's true.
What genre of music do you guys play?
I always just call it post-shoegaze, bootgaze sometimes, which are never options for things you can select when you're saying it. So honestly, all the time I just say alternative, but that doesn't really mean anything anymore. But yeah, I don't know. I've been like grappling with what to call it because honestly, the shoegaze community can be really intense because it's a lot of people who grew up listening to it in like the 90s when it first started coming around and like are unrelenting on like the new gaze people that are coming in and like taking inspiration. And so it's kind of hard. Honestly, sometimes I'm scared to call us shoegaze because I think someone's going to like beat the hell out of us for it. It's like, you guys aren't real shoegaze.
The shoegaze people are tough.
But I think I'm kind of coming to grips with this new idea of what shoegaze is. And it's like, because I saw this post, there's a Reddit community for shoegaze that I like to pop into to find new music and stuff. And I found a post that was about this same thing. And there was this dude who was talking about how he grew up with all that music in the 90s and like had kept up with the scene from then to now, just kind of like watching it evolve. And he was like, shoegaze has always kind of been more about like experimentation and taking a lot of inspiration and kind of just blending it and doing whatever the hell you want. And I kind of am sticking with that kind of mindset now going forward, calling it shoegaze more as like an experiment. And there are some staples to it, like very shimmery guitar. A lot of the times it's really fucking loud. But yeah, I'm just kind of like trying to let myself get weird with it, and just calling it shoegaze, I guess. I don't know if you guys call it anything else. Sometimes I call it like indie rock shoegaze or something.
Yeah.
But country.
I feel like
Country even.
Yeah. It's like Motown. I feel like it's helpful to talk about influences.
Yeah,
And
that
it's hard
was
to define
Yeah.
genre stuff.
going to be my next question. So thank you for asking it. Please continue.
That's it. That's all I have to say.
That's all.
Oh,
No,
man,
no, but
just
yeah.
gave you the ball. Don't drop it.
Yeah, no, it's I think it really helps because a lot of times you say things like indie rock or like alternative rock, and that can be a lot of different things. So I always try to like just talk about influences, and I feel like Scout can speak more to like
Yeah.
as the one who he writes
Yeah.
songs, bring them to us, then we figure out our parts and the construction of the song, all under his
My guiding
watchful
hand.
gaze. Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
It's a
When they're
watchful
recording, I
gaze.
stand right behind them, just arms crossed. If they do
Yeah.
anything wrong,
Yeah.
backhand.
It's brutal.
You played the wrong note,
He's scared.
which is really hard to do in our songs.
That's true.
Because there's just there's nothing that makes sense. They all sound like shit. So if he hits a wrong note, just bang, bang, that's 20 hits.
Yeah. 20 hits.
You won't miss it again.
Wow, being in studio with you guys sounds like not a lot of fun. So
No.
It's painful.
maybe
horrifying.
you shouldn't do that recording. Somebody back there videoing while you're in there
Probably
recording.
not.
Probably not.
They're gonna cancel.
Wouldn't look
us.
good.
Charges could be pressed.
Yeah.
Oh, certainly. Yeah.
He would never let that evidence get out
No way.
the way he treats
No
us.
way. Dude, shout out though. I want to put this shout out there while we're talking about the studio. We've recorded at Bomb Shelter. Drew, what's his name? Carroll. Drew Carroll, absolute legend.
Yeah.
We called him Bonky in the studio. I don't know why, but
Those
we
are
chose to
nothing.
call him that months in advance. He is like the best recording studio engineer I've ever met in my life. He's a great hang. Yep.
Great dude.
That's it.
Great at what he does. Bomb Shelter's always such a great option for
He's such a good hang.
local, affordable
Yeah.
studio
Local
time.
affordable studio time. It's good shit.
Well, speaking of writing, how does writing go in your band? I mean, How
Scott comes up with
the whole explain to me the whole process from conception of a song
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
final production and how
Everything comes into it.
how each of y'all play a role in getting it out there to the masses.
It's
Yeah.
usually Caleb has a dream, and that's how we start out with the song. And then
We live
I'm
together.
scared.
He has a night terror, and he'll come to me in the middle of the night and tell me about it. And I write it down.
Yeah,
And the
I
next
scream-
morning,
I scream the exact lyrics.
yeah. You just hear
we
it
don't
from
change
your room.
anything. And I just write it down.
I'm like, yeah, 4-1, back to 4. 5. Yeah.
I'll slow it down. Halftime. Now back. Double time. And I'm just in there writing it down as fast as I can.
Solo.
But no one ever taught me how to write, so I just have to make up symbols the whole time.
It's tough. It's a tough world. To
It's
live
tough out there. Nah, we're just kidding. I usually will start. I don't know. We were just talking about this, me and Caleb, earlier today, and I feel like the process for me changes every time. Like when I find something that works, it works for a handful of songs. Like let's say I'm writing an album, and I go out and I like find this flow of writing, these 12 songs that I had prepared, or I had like little ideas for, and I'll get them done. We'll come back and like run through everything. And then the next time I try to approach it, I like keep that in mind, and it just straight up doesn't work. And I have to like struggle to kind of like figure out where exactly to take it. And like lately I've been finding a lot more inspiration in like lo-fi shit, like just straight up recording worse sounding demos, which is kind of funny. But I've been like posting up in our back. We have like this sunroom at this house we live in, and I'll go back there and just like record out of this shitty little amp. I don't know anything about mic placement, but I'll try it. I'll just like set it up and record and like get these 8-minute jams and kind of like pick them apart, listen to them for a long time, and ideas come to me and I like add them and then whittle it down. And sometimes it stays 8 minutes long, and sometimes it gets down to maybe 6 minutes. But at that point, usually it's like, I think it's pretty bare bones. I just come up with progressions and like lyrics and the worst drums you've ever heard that I program in. And then I send it to them with the most nonsensical chart you can imagine. It makes no sense. And they figure it out. And then we play it.
So, what do you play in the band?
I play guitar.
Okay.
Yeah.
I play guitar as well.
I play guitar as well.
I knew you.
You know?
I knew it.
Oh, it's like phlegm buildup, No, I play drums.
Okay. So, guitar heavy band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two guitars.
Two guitars, I feel
bass,
like.
and drums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a bassist, but we've had kind of like a rotating cast of friends. Nobody who's like the bassist. So we're the core here.
Okay. How many unfinished songs do you have?
At any given time, because I try to work through them as much as I can, which is a weird balance right now with like working and like trying to play shows and shit. But right now I've got probably like 30 or something like that. And they start as little ideas. And I kind of like catalog them, and when I can get to it, I'll record it. So they build up really quick, and then I'll try to work through them really quick. But they keep rolling.
Okay. All right, guys, it is time for an intermission. So enjoy this promo while we take a quick break.
All right, y'all. So while they're at intermission, I figured I'd come in here and let you know a little bit about myself. My name's Harkos. I not only edit this episode, but every single episode here on Two Beers with a Band podcast. And aside from that, I also have my own podcast called Music Making Sense Podcast, where it's all about music marketing, branding, and how to have success. real success. As an independent artist, every single week I drop a brand new episode diving deep into specific trouble points that independent artists have when it comes to growing a real and sustainable fan base online. And I also give tips and tricks to help you as an independent artist grow a real, sustainable fan base in a DIY fashion for as low cost as possible. And every single episode I dedicate to specific topics to give you detailed strategies in order to overcome all the struggles that you're having as an independent artist. So if you're an independent artist trying to grow a real and sustainable fan base, or you happen to know somebody who's an independent artist who's struggling to try to grow and get a real fan base growing online, tell them to head over to musicmakingsense.com to find out all that is Music Making Sense Podcast. You'll find the links to the socials and the streaming platforms, and most importantly, you'll also find the link to the YouTube channel where you can find every single episode of Music Making Sense Podcast. But aside from that, you'll also be able to tune in every single Wednesday when I go live reviewing independent artist music from all around the world, all genres. Me and the people in the live chat, we will give our critique on the song, positive and negative. It's all constructive. And then after that, I'll go and do a deep dive into your social media platforms to see how you're using your social platforms and give tips and tricks on how you can use it the best. So if you're an independent artist and you want real DIY approaches on how to grow a real and sustainable fan base, make sure you go to musicmakingsensepod.com, find the link to the podcast episode platform that you prefer to listen to it on, and make sure you go check out the live stream exclusively on YouTube. And they're coming back. Make sure you check out musicmakingsensepod.com, Wednesday night live stream, and every single episode. I gotta get going. musicmakingsensepod.com. They're coming back. I gotta go. See y'all.
All right, guys, welcome back to the second half of Two Beers with a Band. I'm here with Horsehell, and we're back from a break, and I have a question that I really want to ask you guys. Talking to you guys has been a lot of fun. Is your music as much fun as the conversation?
No.
100% no. It's complete disparity. Is that a word? Disparity?
Yeah.
Does it
Yeah.
matter?
It doesn't. No.
So that's what your music is. You just made up a word.
Yes.
No, I
It's
mean,
just- it's all made up.
It is a word, but why would you say that about your music?
It is fun for us.
We have fun.
Yeah, we do. We have fun. The music itself is kind of like a channeling of disparity, but playing shows and like getting into the scene in Nashville and like getting to know these guys, even just if it's just like a jam at our house or something, that's like what I look forward to the most week by week. So it's a lot of fun. We actually usually when we rehearse, we make a point of starting with like a jam just to kind of like get into it, but also, I don't know, the self-expression element is very important to me. So it's kind of fun to just get in there and like, we've done some wonky shit, but we just kind of run with it and like see where it goes and try to have fun. So yeah, it's very fun. The music itself is like a bit downcast, a little bit of a bummer maybe.
I would say a lot of songs have energy.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they're all like, some songs have less energy and more like somber.
I gotta
But
sing all the
definitely the
dumbass
lyrics.
words, dude.
Yeah.
That's why I feel that
I
way.
don't even listen to those.
Dude, same. I just memorize the sounds and I like replicate them every time. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
All right. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely ready to
Yes.
get into this next beer. And I picked out Hippies and Cowboys from Tennessee Brew Works. This is a 6% IPA.
Let's go.
Is that Willie on there?
Is it? It don't look like Billy. Looks like you, bro.
Is that me?
How did they get your
How did they
face
get me on
this?
There's somebody out there taking pictures.
Yeah. I always knew it.
Every
Back of
show.
my mind.
Of
Every
you.
show.
Yeah.
Even when you're at home, dude. They take pictures of you while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
And they put it on beers.
Hey, that's content, man.
That's real.
He's the one that's he's taking those pictures.
Don't tell him. Don't
Like-
tell him.
I'll get him back.
He's gonna change the
somehow.
locks on his house. I
Then
cannot deal with that.
Then
again.
you can't get in.
I can't. And then I gotta do the old window trick again.
He'll just steal my key and make a copy again.
All right, guys.
It's pretty easy.
Let's take a sniff, see what we get off this beer.
I just stuck my nose into the beer. It's very wet. I kind of smell some strawberries in there. I don't know if that's made up.
No, I can see that.
Now
Yeah,
that you said it,
definitely.
yeah.
definitely-
I didn't know what depended on.
You know, I do like wine tasting things at work. I work at a restaurant and I bartend, and I'm convinced that you can say whatever the fuck you want when you're smelling it, and if you say it seriously enough, everyone will be like, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I've tried it before.
Power of suggestion.
The power of suggestion.
Well, one thing I like about beer is that everybody's palate is going to be different. And everybody can smell a beer. And you can agree on certain things, but there's always going to be somebody that finds something different.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that because now that you said that, I'm actually going to try to find that same aroma in the beer.
It's fun.
So I have to set it down, kind of let everything
Palate
clear out.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to move forward and see if I
Smells
can
like wet dog.
find that. Now that you said it, I actually can.
Yeah, it's like the faintest little sweetness that you get on the back.
Yeah.
I tasted it a second ago, and you can. It's kind of sweet compared to
Smells
where
like
this one's kind of
lemonade.
citrusy. Yeah.
All
I
right. Well,
slammed my face into this like 9 times.
He's got a drinking problem.
It's good.
all right.
I like it.
Flavor wise, what do you guys get off this beer?
I feel like it's got a little bit more of bitterness from the hops
Yeah, for sure.
than the home style.
On the
Very-
back, it definitely does.
Still
I
very,
wish I'd
still
saved
very
a
mellow.
sip so I could compare. Oh, there we go.
I don't think you're allowed to do that, man.
That's not allowed. I feel like it's a tiny, tiny bit sweeter in a way.
Oh, it's definitely
Yeah,
sweeter.
sweeter.
There's no doubt. Sweet is definitely up front
Yeah,
in
that's
this
good.
beer.
I feel like I don't usually feel that way with IPAs. That's nice.
Well, one thing about beer and music, and the reason I put these two things together is beer and music have a lot in common. Or craft beer and indie music have a lot in common.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because, for example, for you guys to be indie shoegaze, there are certain elements you have to have in your music to fit that genre. Well, for a beer to be an IPA, there are certain elements that beer has to have, but each brewery is going to put their own spin on that IPA to make it their own.
Yeah.
So each IPA you have is going to have a little bit different flavor.
Yeah.
So each band that plays indie shoegaze is going to put a little bit of a different flavor on their music to make it their own.
Totally.
So you guys are the brewers for the IPA, the same way these guys are the brewers for the IPA. And that's why I like craft beer and indie music, because you're never going to
Very
get
nice.
the same thing.
Yeah.
They pair very nicely.
Totally.
You're right.
Yeah, I think that encapsulates like creativity in a lot of really cool
Yeah.
ways. Like we're all building off someone else's work, you know, and then everyone has their own little spin on it, and then that's how whole other genres get made.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's cool as fuck.
So, have you guys found community in Nashville?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It took me a while, at least personally, but I feel like, especially in like the music scene, as soon as we all locked in with each other and like started playing out, and like it takes a bit to like find yourself in the scene, especially here, because there's so much. Like our first year of playing shows, basically, they all felt like trash bills in a way. 'Cause it's like all these different genres, maybe some crossover, but I feel like we've really started to find a lot of cool bands that there's like some camaraderie between us, which is really cool and exciting. Like, I think Stammer was just on here, and
Yes.
we've only played with them once, but I love them. They're all so sweet. We played Dark Matter with them like close to a year ago, and have just kept in contact since then. They put out their first project not that long ago, and it's awesome.
Yeah, they're great.
I love those guys. But yeah, the deeper we've gotten into it, the more community I've found. And it's even more exciting finding people who are doing similar things. Yeah.
So, do you think finding community in Nashville that you have found common ground, or you have found or made friends with people in other genres of music?
Like aside from our own?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's kind of hard not to. If you don't make friends with those people, you won't have friends like at all for the longest time,
Yeah.
I feel like. Because, like I said, there's just so much music here. And it's all great. I said earlier, like playing these trash bills, I loved every single show that we played. It was like, we played with so many talented bands. But yeah, the community, especially in the indie like DIY scene here, is really cool. The way it evolves and like the way you get involved with it is kind of cool.
Do you feel that your band is growing because of the connections that you've made in Nashville with other bands and other genres of music? Since, I mean, if you work and live in Nashville as a musician, there's no way you can't run across musicians from other genres, because Nashville is more than just country music. It's
Definitely.
everything, you know, but the world labels Nashville as country music. And a lot of people think if you're not playing country, you're not going to make it in this town.
Yeah.
And that is a lie,
That's wrong.
you know, and you guys are a testament to that.
Totally.
But, you know, how, from your point of view, how has community helped you along the way? And how have, you run across other genres that maybe have influenced the music that you guys play?
Yeah. It's been huge. Like for all the growth that has happened outside of, meeting these other bands that have been really inspiring and also just like really sweet to us. It's getting to know them. Like Stammer comes to mind again. There's these other friends of ours called Fossil Creek. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They're so good. Friends with Riley and Trevor from that band. Trevor's played bass with us before. But honestly, it's just like, it's really inspiring. And there's something about when you find a band that you really click with as another band, where you like start showing up for each other or running into each other in similar scenes, and you find out you're really interested in other stuff. Like maybe you wouldn't have crossed paths outside of like going to the same shows. And I don't know, something about that is just really subtle, but it's been really inspiring to me, to just you realize that you're all a part of something. And Nashville can be a bit polarizing when you first show up. And I mean, beyond when you first show up, it can be just polarizing because there are so many like cliques and niches and people who are doing their specific things or like have gotten a foothold over here with their group of people. And when you start to find people that are on your level or like doing the same thing as you, and you consistently see each other and run into each other and like talk about the same shit, it's just really inspiring, and it brings a sense of community that I don't necessarily get out of my day to day, to be honest. So it's exciting for that reason. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I think I feel like since it is a town that has so many musicians and so many people trying for the same thing, you know, like a career in whatever art form, but mostly music, I feel like, you know, if you get here and you just start playing shows, reach out to people, just like try your best to kind of continuously do music and be consistent about it. And I feel like people see that, and, you know, eventually you play shows with bands that are going to like you, and then you create friendships, you create relationships, and then you can get more shows and, you know, more good times.
Yeah. I agree.
What do you guys want from your music? I mean, you're putting in the time, you're putting in the hours, you're playing the shows, you're pounding the pavement. What do you want for the work you're doing?
That's a great question. Honestly, I spend a lot of my time, especially lately, thinking about like what the fuck I'm aiming for necessarily, like personally or in a career or anything like that, because everything feels like a question mark still right now. But I don't know. Music has always kind of been, like art in general, has always just kind of been like a safety raft. And I think kind of just what I'm aiming for in general is self-expression, because there's a gratification that comes with that. Like when you play a show or like you're writing something at home and you have that moment and you're like, oh, this is like, I feel, this sounds goofy as hell to say, but you're like, I feel alive right now. And that, like, I can't think of any other moments in my life that feel that way, that are as like exciting and that I want to chase. And so obviously like getting more attention and more people who are doing this. And I try not to think about money when I think about art, because I feel like it's just a really stressful thing in general, and I don't want it to have anything to do with creation. But like having money would be awesome, like getting paid for it. But I think at the end of the day, it's just like expression and getting to play with these guys, getting to walk off stage and be like, that was the best set ever, is like, that's it. I could live off of that.
Like, I think for me, like as somebody who doesn't have a part in like, you know, like really writing the songs, just like working on drums and like figuring stuff out with the whole band, like when it comes to like playing shows or people listening to like shit we're recording, like I just want people to resonate with it, even if they don't know what it's about or they can't pinpoint any topic of the song. They can feel something from it. And like Scout and I were talking about this earlier today, just about, he was mentioning one of his favorite bands, and he was like, I honestly don't know, like, you know, it's like I know their whole catalog, but I don't know all the lyrics to every song. But it's like something about just like the feeling being what matters. And so if people can listen to us, whether it's just on their fucking phone or if they're at a show, like, and they feel something from it, like,
Or
that's
if they
sick.
don't speak English.
Yeah.
If they don't get it, if
like-
you can't hear the lyrics, like, if you, as long as there's some kind of emotion relayed, and it doesn't matter what it is, as long as you feel something, that's cool.
When I've listened to y'all's music, there's definitely a vibe to your music. and from start to finish, at least for me, it carries that same vibe. And I do enjoy that. And, you have mentioned as long as someone feels it.
Yeah.
So I think, at least from a consumer, I'm going to tell you, you've hit your marks as far as
Hell yeah.
what you're doing.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
You
It's
know,
good to hear.
and if that's your goal with each song, I'm a consumer. You've met that goal. So why don't you try to step it up a little bit? Let's shoot for something a little bit bigger, a little more grand.
Yeah.
What's next? What do you want?
Damn.
I think we're gonna make a movie next.
Hell yeah.
A whole line of movies. Each one of us is a superhero.
Yeah. We're gonna redo Star Wars.
Okay. Oh, okay.
No,
All
I'm
right. No, you opened that box.
I'm
So
just kidding.
apparently y'all have talked about it. So
I'm
yeah,
just-
yeah,
I'm just
you
pulling
have.
this
You
straight
have.
out of my ass.
You have.
I don't know, honestly. I feel like my whole, for lack of a better term, career as an artist has been spent like stripping down what I want out of it for the sake of enjoying it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when I was younger, I was like, obviously I was like 9. I would turn on music in my bedroom and sing all day. That was my favorite fucking thing. And I was like, I want to travel the world and play music. Now I'm like in my late 20s and broke off my ass. And I'm like, I can't afford that. But like, let's be realistic and let's like appreciate what's happening. And so it's kind of been stripped down in that way where it's like, I'm not trying to like, what's the word?
Grandstand.
Yeah, maybe something like that. I'm not trying to make it this big thing necessarily, although it feels huge to me. Like I put everything I have into it. But I just try to enjoy what it is. And I mean, looking at what it could turn into is really exciting. But honestly, I have no idea. I would love to go on like a big tour, dude, like open for somebody.
That'll be great.
The band that we were talking about earlier that Caleb mentioned is Nothing. Have you heard of them before?
No.
They're like on the front lines of like newer, not newer shoegaze. They've been around for a bit, but like the next big wave. Like they're a bigger name in shoegaze after like My Bloody Valentine and Ride and everybody, Slow Dive. I love them. When I discovered them, it was one of those moments I wasn't expecting where I heard their music and I was instantly like so hooked. Like started going through their whole catalog, like went to see them live during the pandemic. So everyone was wearing masks. It was stupid, but I don't know, just like networking with those people and playing shows with these bands that I love. That sounds like a cool thing that I want to pursue. If people listen to us and like our shit. So,
Well,
I don't know.
who would you like to open up for? Dream tour. Who do you want to open for? Individually, not not just you, but you guys individually. Who do you want to open for?
I'm interested to hear what you guys say. Kendrick Lamar, dude.
I want to open
My
up
goal
for
is the Super Bowl. Yes.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
seriously.
He's playing Not Like Us, and we're just in the background.
Yeah, I want to be dancing next to Serena Williams. That'd be sick.
Bro, I just had a dream about that the other night.
Cut that.
Oh,
I'd ask for details, but you probably wouldn't allow it.
wrong time and place.
Next time.
Yeah.
You say
Yeah,
yours.
okay. Nothing for sure. I would love to open for them. There's this band called Julie. I forget where they're based out of. Are they Pittsburgh or Philly?
They're Philly.
I think they're Philly.
I could be wrong.
They're like one of the new gaze bands that they just put out a record last year, I think, and it's fucking awesome. I'd love to open for them. dream person that I don't think this would ever happen, but it would be so fun because I feel like I want to be best friends with them is Ethel Kane. I don't think it would fit at all, but I would be so happy.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Those are the first ones that come to mind for me.
All right.
I'm just gonna pick one. Honestly, I think it would be really cool to tour with a band that started based in Nashville. There's this band, All Them Witches. Super cool band. They're great. It's like kind of stoner metal sort of stuff. It would be a different genre than us, but I feel like it would work well. And I know from experience that they're great dudes.
Hell yeah. We could be rocking with the stoner metal,
We
dude.
could do that.
I don't know. The amount of time I've had to think about this was ever since the question was asked.
I had even less time than you did.
I want to open for Mahal Kita.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's far fetched, but like, if I could like hang in a green room with Robert Smith, I would.
Bro.
It'd be good.
I feel like
18-wheeler hit me right after the show. I'd be fine.
100%.
You know, just
That-
completely
that
beamed.
man is
I feel
my
like I'd be
hero.
way too scared to meet him.
Why? Why?
I feel like he's a
we'd hate each
sweetie.
other. Really?
I mean,
Yeah,
he
dude.
seems like kind of a
He's
man
just
of the
like
people,
a chill guy.
and like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm scared to meet like
doesn't he like
people I
cap his
respect.
tickets?
I feel like I don't know. I'm scared to hate them.
Yeah.
I feel like he's one that will hold up, and
100%.
It's a pretty obscure fear. I don't know why I have that.
Yeah.
Well,
You should
that's
chill
Coming
out.
to light.
You say that, and I find it interesting that people, no matter what I'm talking about, people say, "Oh, I would love to meet, so and so, artist, musician, athlete, actor, whatever the case may be. Their quote hero." It's like, what would you do if they literally walked through that door right now by themselves?
I would.
Would you go up and introduce you? Oh no, I'm too scared. Why?
No, I definitely
No,
would.
they're a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They put their pants on the same way.
100%.
You do. I mean,
I feel like if you approach them as a person and not
Yeah.
just like as a, oh, let me get,
Yeah, you just walk up and say, "Hey, my name's so and so. I appreciate what you do. I follow you this. I do that. I would like to shake your hand." They're probably going to do it. And if they don't do it, to be honest with you, do you really want to sit down with them? Or do you really, somebody's like,
It's
"Oh,
not.
okay, that's cool."
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
That's real.
I've met so many people who are so huge. And I'm not tooting my own horn, but it's kind of like, you know what, man? I just tell them, "Hey, I appreciate what you do. I like your stuff. Have a good day."
Yeah.
And, it's just like, that's it. I'm not going to fanboy you.
Don't ask
Yeah.
me
Because-
anything, yeah.
You don't need that.
Yeah.
You're doing your shit. I'm doing my shit. I don't want to interrupt what you're doing because that's going to mess your day up.
yeah.
And I don't want to fanboy people because it
Yeah.
just.
It's just being a punisher.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to
Yeah.
do that.
No.
So my next question, and I'm probably going to, drop the right hook on you, but what are you doing every day to meet those goals that we just talked about?
That's another one that I'm like figuring out day by day. And for how much of a slow burn it's been, like building, because like it's no small thing necessarily building a band from the ground up. It happens all the time, but it is a lot of work. And like that's where I'm just so lucky to have met these guys. Like I just have no idea. Yeah, I couldn't have done it myself, and it kind of fell into place for that reason. But we've been really lucky the whole time, the way things have kept falling together. And it's been a consistent amount of putting in work, but it's changing all the time. And right now, my whole thing is like, I'm about to get a second job, start saving to get a van, so that we can tour our music more often. And outside of that, it's a constant effort of like reaching out to venues and other bands and just like trying to make these connections so that we can progress and keep playing shows and like keep meeting people. Yeah, it's just, and like I said earlier too, I've been finding another balance of like writing new songs and like fitting that into my day to day with everything else going on and all the logistics of like setting up shows, working, you know, paying rent, all this other shit. So I don't know if I have a specific answer other than like it's a lot of moving pieces, but I do feel positively about all of it right now. Oh yeah, that's it.
Cool.
Well, it sounds like, at least for you, every day you're doing something to move the ball forward.
Yeah, definitely at the top of my mind.
So I guess for me, my position in the band, you know, I take a lot of direction from Scout on what I'm gonna play and like feel like where I am in the songs, the like construction and dynamic of the song needs to link up with that. So I just try to practice, and I try to practice improvisation as much as I can, because I feel like that is the best way for me to feel comfortable enough to make little changes in things. If I have a vision and I feel like it supports his vision, I want to be comfortable enough to be like in the moment, be like, oh, what if I did this? Or, you know, bring my own little flavor to it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Caleb, what are you doing?
Yeah, what the hell are you doing?
He's doing the most out of all of us.
Yeah, for sure.
Honestly, like I think the most, like, very genuinely, like I know it sounds lazy, but like is like remaining like really just like stoked about the whole thing, because like everybody I know here in town that is like actively playing in a band or for an artist, like it seems like there's no in between of like hating what you're playing or being really excited to like hit the studio or play shows. And it's like we all get really busy with our daily lives and everything, but remembering it's like, oh, like we have rehearsal like every Wednesday. We got like these shows coming up that we can like really plan for, and we get to, I don't know, just there's always a goal to meet with Horsehell. And so like aside from like keeping my chops up and just being ready to play, like knowing that that's this big thing I get to look forward to. It's like even one show, even if it's in town, it's like a vacation for me. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I got to make sure I'm studied up and ready to go and ready to play, but it's a completely separate thing than like work and like all the other life bullshit. It's like I'm playing up on stage with my best friends and to a lot of, you know, my best friends if it's here in town. So it's something to be really stoked about. So I think day to day, it's just kind of reminding myself to be like, oh, wow, this is awesome. And I get to do this. Like, that's exactly what I've wanted to do my whole life. So
yeah, man.
It's huge.
It's a dream.
Yeah. It helps a lot because I get depressed as fuck. They carried me through this winter. I don't know. I was trying to find some sort of vision for it again. And we were like playing our first shows back this year. And I was like hyper focused on the performance and all these different elements. And it wasn't until the very last show in that month that like we had a conversation where we were like talking about just what you said with there's a fine line of people who hate doing this and love doing it. And I can't remember what exactly we were talking about, but the point was like, you got to just be really grateful and appreciative of what you're doing. And it takes kind of like a self-awareness to step outside of everything that's happening, like all the work and all that kind of shit and life, and acknowledge it and be like, okay, cool, I'm doing what I've wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe I don't have all the resources that would make it super easy, but I'm writing songs, playing shows with my best friends, and like consistently have something to be really excited about that's like gratifying for me and really this incredible emotional release and form of self-expression. So that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've both provided that for me in a way that I've needed in times where I couldn't do it myself. So thanks, fellas.
Yeah, anytime, buddy.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck you.
Well, being on stage, is that stressful for you guys, or is it a release, or getting up there, putting on a show? Explain it to me. How do you feel?
Release.
Yeah, it's a stressful release. I feel like there's
Stress-induced release.
stress-induced release.
I love it, man. I don't ever necessarily feel stressed unless it's been a long time in between shows, but
Yeah, I feel like if we make it a point to prepare ourselves
Mhm.
for every show, and when you're going on stage and you're prepared, that makes all the difference. And there's gonna be little bouts of being, I don't know, having some anxiety. That happens for everyone, but I personally just don't think about it too much, and I just know that if we're playing like we've been rehearsing, it's just gonna be fun.
yeah, definitely. I remember when I first moved here, I was playing different music and everything. It was like more of this like pop project that I had, but I played like New Faces Night because I was like a couple months into being here, and I was like, this is the only show that I feel comfortable doing and can get. And I like had a beer, and I feel like I blacked out on stage. I like got off stage at the end, and I was like, I hope the muscle memory kicked in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was insane. I don't feel that way anymore. Thank God. Like I love being on stage, and I think it's fun like interacting with everybody on stage too. And like once you finally feel comfortable enough to just like move around it and kind of like improv with it, it's very fun.
What should listeners take away from a show that you guys play? If they have not heard your music and they came to see another band, but you guys get up there and have fun, what should I as a consumer walk away? Better yet, why should I listen to your music after I've left the show?
Well, I don't know. Shouldn't. Who knows? But I will say I like it when someone, their feedback is like, it felt genuine. Like you guys feel like a band. And it doesn't feel like, I don't know, too thought out or too meticulous. I think just coming across as genuinely doing it because for the love of it, I think that's the most important thing.
I definitely agree with that. I'm like, I don't know if there's anything specific I would say people should or shouldn't get out of it. Although I hope, speaking to what Caleb said earlier, I hope people get like an emotional reaction to it because there's a lot of emotion we put into it. And that's kind of what, it's like this unspoken kind of like emotional buildup that I kind of like try to release during those shows. And I hope that kind of comes across to everybody. But yeah, I don't know. Every time someone comes up to me after a show and is like stoked about it, even if all they say is like, yo, that was awesome, make my fucking day, I'll like dream about it.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's great.
Yeah. But I don't know. I hope people like it. I don't know.
Well,
Translates.
if people are following you on social media, they're finding you in created playlist by Spotify, Apple Music, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, do you feel that you've accomplished something if you can look at the stats on that? If you even do look at stats and say, this song has had this many plays, or is that something honestly that you guys even give a shit about?
I think it's a very kind of arbitrary number at a certain point.
Yeah.
Because like if you get 20,000 listens on a song, then you have that 20,000. It's like, okay, I got that. Now the song's 10 years old and it still has like 21,000 or whatever, I don't know. I feel like feedback from live shows from people is always going to be more important to me than stats for streaming.
All right. Well, guys, we need to take an intermission. I have some really good questions, I think, when we get back. Stay tuned.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Harkos here. No, I'm not here to tell you about my podcast again. I'm here to tell you that this is the end of part 1 of the great episode here with Horsehell. Now, if you've enjoyed this great podcast episode so far, you definitely need to make sure that you tune into part 2. And part 2 actually comes out 2 days after this one has aired. So if you're watching it in live time, you need to make sure that you hit the notification buzzer and hit subscribe to Two Beers with the Band podcast so you don't miss when episode 2 comes out here in just 2 days. Now, if you're watching this and part 2 is already out, you wanted to watch part 1 first, hey, that's awesome. Either way, you need to make sure that you hit like, share, follow, and subscribe to Two Beers with the Band podcast so you never miss a single episode here on Two Beers with the Band podcast. And then, of course, make sure you tune in to part 2 with Horsehell right here on Two Beers with the Band podcast.